carotid artery with the carotid plexus. This is going to be the frontal nerve, which is going to branch into supraorbital supratrochlear. This is the ciliary ganglia, number 2, and these are short ciliary nerves here coming out. This is going to be the inferior division of the ocular motor here. This is the pterygopalatine ganglia right here. Pterygopalatine ganglia is going to have palatine nerves coming out below it. Do you see this coming into it? This is the nerve of the pterygoid canal, or the nerve of Vidian. Follow that back. The upper one is the greater petrosal nerve. The bottom one is the deep petrosal nerve. You see the deep petrosal nerve is coming off the carotid plexus carrying sympathetic fibers. Greater petrosal nerve is coming off of the facial carrying parasympathetic fibers. They're coming forward through the nerve of the pterygoid canal to the pterygopalatine ganglia. From the pterygopalatine ganglia, we've got palatine nerves heading south. We've got the inferior infraorbital nerve heading north. We're missing the zygomaticofacial and zygomaticotemporal nerves that would be coming off of here. We come down. This is a tricky one right here. Number 6 is the otic ganglia. Now, cranial nerve 9 is shy. He hides behind everybody else. The otic ganglia belongs to cranial nerve 9, glossopharyngeal. That's what's going to innervate the parotid gland. So 9-0, 6 is the otic ganglia, and it is behind mandibular branch trigeminal. This is mandibular branch trigeminal coming out here, giving you the lingual nerve. Lingual nerve has the submandibular ganglia on it, and the lingual nerve is joined by the chordae tympani nerve, which is number 7 here. Chordae tympani nerve joining lingual nerve, which is going to the submandibular ganglia. Then this one that's broken off here would be the inferior alveolar. Number 11 back there, that is actually the glossopharyngeal nerve. That's the glossopharyngeal nerve. And number 12 is incidentally the hypoglossal. So hypoglossal, glossopharyngeal, lingual, otic ganglia, chordae tympani, nerve of pterygoid canal with the greater petrosal and deep petrosal, pterygopalatine ganglia, ciliary ganglia. So the ganglia here, ciliary ganglia, pterygopalatine ganglia, otic ganglia, submandibular ganglia. They're kind of important. Vagus, this one coming out here is the spinal accessory, and this one coming out here is the facial between the stylomastoid foramen. So after facial gives off chordae tympani, it comes through the stylomastoid foramen. There's facial, there's spinal accessory. Here's vagus coming down. Vagus is going to give off the internal laryngeal, which goes through the thyrohyoid membrane. Vagus is going to continue down, giving off the right recurrent laryngeal, which is looping around the right subclavian, left recurrent laryngeal, which loops around the arch of the aorta. Vagus continues down, gives off cardiac plexus, esophageal plexus, and respiratory plexus. Esophageal plexus is going to become anterior and posterior vagal trunk to get through the diaphragm, and vagus is going to innervate all the way through the GI tract, through the transverse colon and the left colic flexure. So this is all vagus. We come out here, we've got intercostal nerves here, but we see this yellow thing coming down here, which is the sympathetic chain. Sympathetic chain out here, you're going to have white rami communicans, which are farther out, and gray rami communicans, which are closer in. You're going to have the greater splanchnic nerve coming forward from T5 to T9, lesser splanchnic nerve from T10 and 11, and least splanchnic nerve from T12. Those belong to the sympathetic nervous system. They're carrying sympathetic preganglionic neurons to the celiac ganglia, the superior mesenteric ganglia, the aortico-renal ganglia, and the inferior mesenteric ganglia. So we've got celiac ganglia here, superior mesenteric ganglia here, and aortico-renal ganglia are right next to the superior mesenteric ganglia. All of this down here is the hypogastric plexus. Everything south of, and this is a mixture of sympathetics and parasympathetics in the hypogastric plexus here. We follow the sympathetic chain all the way down to the very, very bottom, and the very bottom of the sympathetic chain is called the ganglion impar. The last thing we have here is S2 to S4, forming the pelvic splanchnic nerves. Those are parasympathetic. So S2 to S4, pelvic splanchnic nerves, parasympathetic, and they're responsible for innervation of the distal GI tract, the urinary and reproductive organs. That's it for the sympathetic.